Hello guys, welcome back. So today we're building this password generator. I want this to be a very quick video. The last video I did was an hour plus video, and I know that's a pretty long video for some people. So this is going to be a very short video. We're going to build this password generator, but before we start building this password generator, I would like to show you how it works. So the way it works, you put the number of characters you want the password generator to generate for you, and hit the generate button, and it's going to generate both letters, number, and special characters. You can move up to 20 and hit generate. It's going to generate, but if you go above 20, it's going to produce this error that you can generate only maximum numbers of 20 characters. So this is what we'll be building. I hope you enjoy it and see you there. Alright guys, so we're going to start building our password generator. So I have my index.html file empty. I have some styling on my CSS file, and I have my app.js file empty. So I'm just going to start to put down my boilerplate, and I'm going to change this to password generator. Then I'm going to have a div with the class of container, and I'm going to have an h1 with the class of heading, and I'm going to say password generator, and I'm going to save. But let's bring in our style sheet, and let's bring in our script tag. Let's add our script tag at the bottom here. So I'm just going to open this up with live server, and we have this because I already have the styling. So I'm just going to snap this to the right and make this bigger. So let's start writing more. So I'm going to put a span here, and I'm going to give it a class of error, and I'm going to say you can only generate maximum of 20 characters, and save. We're not going to see anything because over here the style in here is set to the display set to none. So if I should comment that out, you see it, but I'm just going to leave it like this. We are going to be displaying it with our JavaScript. So I'm going to have a div with the class of form group. I'm going to say form group, and this is where we'll be putting all our inputs. Then I'm going to have a label. I'm going to get rid of this, and I'm going to say number of characters. Save. Then I'm going to have an input, and it's going to be a type of number, and I'm going to give it an ID of characters number. Save. So we have this input here where we're going to put the numbers of characters, and I'm going to have another input, and this is going to be password. This is going to be password, and I'm going to give it an ID of password display, and save. Next, we are going to have a button with the ID of generate, and we're just going to say generate and save. We have our button, and lastly we are going to put in a display here to display the the characters generated, because this password is just going to hide what we have here. And also we want to set this to read only, so users will not be able to add characters from here or add anything. We're just going to display the password, hide the password here. So I'm going to have a span, and I'm going to give it a class of gen display, and I'm going to save. So that's all for the HTML. So we're going to move into our app.js, and we're going to bring all these variables one after the other. So we're going to do it from top to bottom. So I'm just going to come here and say const error message. I'm going to set it to document dot query selector, because we use class and it has the class of error. It has the class of error. We're going to bring in our input. We're going to bring in this input, numbers of characters input. So I'm going to say length of characters. I'm going to set to document dot get element by ID. It has an ID of characters number. Then we have another input with password display, password display, and I'm going to use document dot get element by ID, because we gave it an ID, and it has an ID of password display. Next, we are going to bring in our button gen btn, and set to document dot get element by ID, and type an ID of generate. Next, we're going to bring in this display here. So I'm just going to call this gen display, just like the class name we gave it, and I'm going to use document dot query selector, and it has the class of gen display. So that's all our UI. That's all our UI variables. So let me just add a comment at the top here. Say UI variables. So what we want to do, we want to be able to click this button and generate random numbers, random text mixed with special characters and numbers. So what I'm going to do here, I'm just going to add my event listener. So I'm going to say gen btn dot add event listener, and we're going to listen for a click event, and we're going to call a function. Well, let's just console.log, or let's just do an alert and say click to test if it's working. So if I click get click, so it's working. But what do we want to do? We want to generate random numbers, random characters when we click this btn. So I'm going to create a function. Let's just do it below here. Say generate random characters. Then I'm going to create a function, say generate random characters, and I'm going to declare a variable here. I'm going to say const, and I'm going to call this variable length. Yeah. Let's use let. So what we want to do, we want this to generate a random characters when we click this button. So I'm going to set this to letters from A to Z and numbers from 0 to 9 and some special characters. I'm just going to paste it in. So actually, let's use const for this. You can use const. So what we are going to do, this function is going to return something that we're going to produce a random character. And to get a random character in JavaScript, we can use the math.random method. So if I say return math.random, and math.random, we are going to multiply it with the number of characters we want it to um, to produce. So we're just going to use the length. We're going to use um, length save. So what I'm going to do, let's just call this function here when we click. So I'm going to console.log generate random characters here. Let's save and let's see what we get. So I'm just going to open my console. I'm going to make this a little bit bigger, and I'm going to click generate, and you see we have a random number. But what we want to get random letters of the letters we have here and the numbers we have here and all these special characters. So you can do that by setting, or I'm just going to call this character. Let's call this character. Let's just say characters. I think that's the better name. So what we are going to do, we are going to remember to get the um, the index of a number in a string. To get the index of anything in a string, you can say characters. For example, if I say I should log characters, then we can use the array symbol to access a certain value from the index. So we have a b, which is 0 1. So if I pass in 1 here, and if i if I save and if I open my console and if I click, you see we are going to get b. If I should change this to 2 and save, come over here and click, we are going to get c. So what we are going to do is that we are going to take characters, and we are going to set this as the index. Let's get rid of this. We are going to set this as the index. So if I should come over here again, let's make this bigger and click um where are we getting undefined characters. If I should come over here and click, where undefined coming from, I'm getting undefined. from here. Um, let's just move on, but you understand what I'm going to do. So I'm just going to wrap this in math.floor, in math.floor, save. So let's try and click. You see, we are getting it now. We are getting this. It's giving us a random value from this character string here. So if I click, we are going to get another one. So what we are going to do is that we are going to append all these values to something. So let's just move on. And next, what we want to do, we want to be able to get the number of characters we want to pass in here. We want to be able to put in a particular number of character, then generate and get it here. So what I'm going to do here is that I'm going to create a function. I'm just going to call this um, um, number of characters, and I'm going to create a function and say number of characters. Then I'm going to pass in a parameter of length here, and I'm going to declare a variable with let and call this generated path, and I'm going to set it to nothing because we are going to be using a for loop, and we are going to be appending. We are going to append this function because we are returning something. We are going to append this function to this generated path. So I'm going to come over here and say for. I'm going to create a for loop for I equals to 0 as long as I is less than length. Now length is going to be a number because we are going to return this generated path, and we are going to call the function over here, and we are going to pass in the value we'll be getting from this length of characters input here. So I'm going to increment I. This is just how to do a for loop in JavaScript. Then we're going to take this generated path and we're going to append to it by using plus equals to, and we're going to append this function. Remember, we are returning this here. So if we append this function here, it's going to give us whatever character is being returned from this string randomly. So after the for loop, we want to come over here and return generated path and save. So what we are going to do now, we're going to come over here. I'm just going to get rid of this console.log we have over here, and I'm going to declare a variable. I'll call it let's just use length. No, let's use number of. Let's just use number, and I'm going to set it to length of characters dot value. So what we want to do, we want to display the numbers if the value here is less than 20. If it's above 20, we want to show an error. So I'm going to use an if statement here and say if number is less than or equal to 20. Excuse me. So what we want to do, we want to take this password display and this gen display, and we are going to set it to this number of characters here. Remember, we are returning this generated path, and we are going to pass in number as an argument. So I'm going to say password display dot value, and I'm going to set it to this number of characters. So I'm going to say number of characters, and I'm going to pass in number. So let's just try it and see if it works. So I'm going to come over here, put in some number and click generate, and you see we get it here. And the reason why I said it because this is a password input. So we're going to take this gen display to. So I'm just going to copy this. I'm just going to copy this, and I'm going to say gen display and save. So if I should come over here and click and save gen display dot value, let's just reload this and try it again. I was supposed to be getting it here. Gen display dot value. Let's just make sure that we are selecting it with the correct class. Yes, we have a class of gen display. Let's try it again and open our console to see if we are getting any error. So I'm just going to open my console, put in some number of characters, click generate. Why are we not getting it? We're not getting any errors. Um oh, this is span, so we want to use the text content. So I'm going to change this to text content. I'm going to change this to text content, and let's try it one more time. And we have it. If you click generate again, going to keep on generating random characters from what we have here in the string. So you can decide to increase the numbers of characters here, and you can decide to alter it, just do anything you like with it, just explore with it. So yeah, next what we want to do, if we should go up to 21 and click generate, it's not going to generate because um it's looking at this statement here. It's going to generate if only it is less than 20, but we want to show an error to the users that they can only generate maximum numbers of 20. So what we are going to do, we are going to put an else here, and I want to call a function to I want to call a function for the error. So I want to put the error message in a function. So I'm going to come down here, and I'm going to say display error message. And I'm going to call a function error, and what we want to do, remember we set this error display to none here in our style sheet. So I'm going to take the variable we're using to select it from the DOM error message. So I'm going to say error message dot style dot display and I want to set it to block. So I'm going to call that error function here as error. So if I should save and let's just pass in 21 here and generate, we're going to say you can only generate maximum of 20 characters, and you see it just stays, it's not going to go off. So I want this to go off after some numbers of seconds. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to use set timeout. So I'm going to say set timeout. Set timeout is going to take a callback function, and I'm going to say I'm just going to copy this. Yes, paste it here, change this to none, and I want this to happen after 2000 milliseconds, which equals to 2 seconds. So I'm going to put 21 here and generate, and after 2 seconds it goes off. So this is our error function. Next, if it produces an error, I want everything to reset. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to create a function here too, and I'm going to call it reset, and I'm just going to create the function reset. And what we want to do, we want to take this and this, and we want to set their value and their text content to nothing. So I'm going to say length of character dot value. I'm going to set it to nothing. I'm going to take gen display dot value, and I'm going to set it to nothing. Then I'm going to take the gen display, which for gen display we want the text content, and I'm going to take the password display, and I'm going to set the value to nothing too, and save. And I'm going to come over here, here it, yeah, and I'm going to call reset and save. So I come over here, put 6, generate 10, generate 15, generate 18, 20. If I put above 20, click generate, it's going to show this error here, and it's going to reset everything. Alright guys, so um that's a pretty short video. It's a short video, and the reason why it's a little bit long is that I just want to try my best and explain everything so you understand what I'm trying to say. So if you like this video, leave a like, subscribe, and hit the notification button so you get notified anytime I upload a video. Thanks for watching guys, and I'm going to see you next time. All right.